So today I want to talk about franchising. Franchising really is a method of distributing products or services. The franchisor owns the right to the name or trademark of the business. The franchisee purchases the right to use the trademark or the brand and the system. And in this study by PricewaterhouseCoopers, they found that more than 760,000 businesses in the United States generated more than $1.53 trillion, or 10% of the US economy. There are over 4,000 franchise opportunities with more than 320,000 franchisees representing 75 different industries in the United States. And I can also speak about myself. 9 years ago, I invested in a Vanguard cleaning franchise. I actually used a consultant to invest in that, and I sold that business last year. So I'm a big believer in franchising. I was able to build that business up from scratch in Houston. And I'm excited to talk to you about my own experience in this and just about the business in general. So some of the advantages of franchising include that the characteristics of franchises allow you a better chance to succeed than if you were just to start something on your own. A great franchisor really wants to be your partner, and it's in their best interest to help you to succeed. And they've designed systems that will contribute to your success. And they also form great relationships with the franchisees. So they ensure the success of their own brand while helping franchise owners to grow a strong and profitable business. There's some mistakes that happen in business in general, and by having a system, a proven product, they've actually worked these things out of the system through their experience, and the franchisor is able to assist when new challenges arise. So purchasing a franchise provides the franchisee the opportunity to control their own destiny with the added benefit of a proven business plan and ongoing support of the franchisor. Franchising is a highly successful business model and truly creates a win-win for both parties. So when you're buying a franchise, you're buying a brand and you're buying a process, and you're getting into a global marketing or a regional or national marketing budget, whereas you would, if you did this on your own, you wouldn't have the same sort of marketing. You're also in a situation where you get ongoing support and ongoing training from the franchisor, and you get consistency as well. So for instance, if you go into a Chick-fil-A in Houston, it's going to be the same Chick-fil-A that you might have in San Diego or somewhere else. So that helps a lot, and you get group buying power as well. Now, not everything is wonderful in franchises. Some challenges are that in exchange for security, training, and marketing, you also have to follow their system. So what I would say is that you actually are not independent. You have a franchise agreement. People that don't like to follow methods or systems or processes, this probably isn't the right thing for you, because they're expected for you to have a sign that's a certain length and width. And you have limited influence. They ask you to follow the model. They might even give you software, and you kind of have to follow the model in the franchise. So franchising is really not for everyone, I would say. And the good thing is that about the different types, if you think about it, one of the things that a lot of my candidates tell me is they're like, hey, I really believe that franchising is only about McDonald's and French fries. Oh my gosh, that really isn't what kind of franchises there are. 4,000 brands in the United States. And what happens is that the increasingly mobile consumer has come to depend upon the consistent quality of franchised products and services. They see something that's franchised and they know what to expect. That's a good thing. And so, look, everyone knows about restaurants, everyone knows about franchised hotel brands. And people also know about franchised retail stores. But there are also other things. So for instance, I like to think about franchising as being in one of two buckets. The first bucket are things that are owner-operator. It might be some sort of a home service business. And those aren't particularly expensive. It might be something that where you're doing some sort of pest control, or you're going ahead and you're helping with water restoration in someone's house. And these kind of businesses run, since you don't actually have to have a storefront, they can be for about $100,000 to $150,000 all in. The second type of franchises are things that are semi-absentee, where you're managing managers, and they typically involve a storefront. And that might be something like Orange Theory Fitness, or it could be a hair salon Or it could be actually something that it's just something that actually you have managers that you're managing. You might have multiple units, and it's the kind of thing that you can run on the side and still have a day job. And so there are different types of franchises. There's also health and beauty franchises. There's automotive. There are a lot of different industries of franchising in general. And so almost every business form that you can imagine of lends itself to franchising. It's important to go ahead and ask yourself, what are you excited about? What are your motivations? Why do you want to own a business? Go ahead and carefully evaluate yourself and build a list or a model that you can use to determine if a franchise opportunity has the components and characteristics that you want. Know what you need in a business to match your preferences and desires. Think about or create in your mind a picture of what the future will be like for you as a business owner. Then you need a process to use to find and investigate individual franchise companies to determine if the franchise is a fit for you and what you want to do. So just expanding on this, what I would say is that when you're investigating different franchises, the franchise will begin by providing you with overview information on the company, maybe a brochure or a video. That's the first step. Then they'll give you something called a franchise disclosure document. The FDD, is what we call it for short, has 23 categories of information about the franchise. It has things such as required fees, basic investment, bankruptcy and litigation history of the company, how long the franchise will be in effect, a financial statement of the franchisor, if the franchisor has earning claims, that'll be included in this. And they also include a list of expenses in item 7, if you're going to go ahead and invest in this franchise. The most valuable source of information on any franchise system is the existing franchisees. Franchisors' training programs, open support, ongoing support, marketing programs, purchasing power, franchisor-franchisee relations, investment and earnings are all topics that need to be explored in order for a potential franchisee to make an educated decision about a concept. So for instance, I have candidates all the time that are kind of scared to talk to the existing franchisees, and they shouldn't, because they can provide a wealth of knowledge. A good question to ask is, at the beginning, if you knew what you knew then, what you know now, what would you do differently? Maybe it's hiring less people. Another question to ask is, how do I fail at this business? And because you can find out, especially if you're talking to people that you can kind of see yourself in, be like, wait a second here, if I started this business, then I'd be in this quadrant in this franchise because this person here is at the top of the franchise and he reminds me or she reminds me of myself. And so the other thing too is that after you talk to existing franchisees, and you can even ask them how much money you're making, you go ahead and you meet the franchisor for a discovery day. I tell my candidates to only go on discovery day if they're sold on the brand, but they want to see, number one, how they fit into the company's culture. And number two, this actually allows them to see how, if there are any red flags with a specific brand when they go on this discovery day. So it's a meeting with key personnel from the franchise company, and this might be possible in your local market, or you might have to travel to the franchisor's headquarters. And so what happens after this is you make a decision, right? What I tell my candidates is that 2 days after you go on this, the expectation is that you say yes or no. And so what happens is if you're in a market that's quite in demand for franchising, then if you're not interested, then someone else will be interested. And the expectation is not for you to put all your money in, but to at least pay the franchise fee within a couple of weeks' time of going on this discovery day. And what happened is that I recently had a candidate that decided to invest in a martial arts opportunity, and they were really, really excited after going to this discovery day because they were excited about the team. They felt like the team really, really were passionate and they had the right sort of values as an organization when it came to martial arts, and that's why they decided to say yes a couple weeks ago, and they're so excited to start their first location of 5. So what I would also say is that there are different financing options in franchising. First is home equity. Interest rates are historically low right now. So if a candidate is still employed or the spouse has solid employment, it's a pretty easy loan to obtain, and your home is your collateral. The second option relates to partnerships and investors. And so you need to show proof of money that a partner or an investor would put into the deal, but this is also an interesting thing to have for financing. Another source of financing is through business loans or SBA loans. And they can be more expensive than home equity loans and a little bit more time consuming than those. And the fees and conditions are many and onerous. And then the other thing we have is we have 401ks or rollover plans. And this allows you to use your 401k or retirement plan to invest in yourself. A lot of candidates that I talk to say that their 401k is their biggest asset. And if they feel comfortable using retirement accounts and they have no other sources of financing available, then this process is fairly easy. And I can totally get, if you're looking to connect with someone that would help you with this, I have a lot of providers that provide this service. So some resources for you here is, first we have the International Franchise Association, which is an association of different franchisors, www.franchise.org. And then we have Entrepreneur Magazine, entrepreneur.com, which is the publisher of the Franchise 500. And then we also have FranchiseCoach.net, which is my website. And I just wanted to thank you for your time today. My name again is Adam Goldman. If you want to find out more information about franchising, please contact me at 713-309-6776 or agoldman@franchisecoach.net.